Hello, wealthy family, and thank you for coming and sharing some time with me today. Today, I want to talk about something that helped me become the person who I am today. Um, my channel, I talk about just about everything, and I'd like to give you all a deeper understanding of why I do some things the way I do, right? Give you a little sneak peek into my mind. So today I'm going to talk about the religion that I was raised in, which is the Jehovah Witness religion. Can't talk about anything else because I didn't experience anything else. I always told myself that if I was to not be a religion, if I was not to be a Jehovah Witness anymore, I wouldn't be any religion. I always told myself that. So I guess I was leaving the door open for those possibilities. I wasn't all in. But I'm coming from a family that was raised in the religion. My mom's side of the family was Baptist. My father is the one who introduced her to the religion, and she converted while she was still in Jamaica. Fun fact about her family: they founded the first Baptist church in the area where they were from in Jamaica. So her family was deeply rooted in baptism. As a matter of fact, she's the only person out of her siblings, and out of her siblings and like her aunts and uncles and stuff, who's a Jehovah Witness. There's just all her children are witnesses. That's it. And that's had an effect on me now that I've grown older. I had an effect on me, and well, again, that's another topic for something else. But my father's side of the family, deeply rooted in religion. My grandmother was part of the religion. I don't know about her mother before her, but I know it started from at least my grandmother, and she instilled it in all 10 of her children, whether they took to it as an adult or not. As a matter of fact, quick turn of events, I was raised by my mother. My parents were actually divorced. Were divorced by the time I was born, or rather a little bit after I was born. And my mom to this day is still very active in the Jehovah Witness religion, and my father is not, not even a little bit. So by all means, like I said, this is just to give you some perspective of where I'm coming from. This is not to sway you one way or another. If you are still very active in the religion, that is wonderful. There are some very wonderful people there. I have some good friends still to this day that came from that religion. But my brothers, not all my brothers, my oldest brother and my sister are still in the religion, but myself and my second oldest brother, we are not. So we're kind of the black sheep of the family. But my brothers were elders, ministerial servants, also traveling overseers. My sister serves where the need is greater. Auxiliary pioneer, things like that, very prestigious. And as I was growing up, it was always, projected that I was going to be great in the Kingdom Hall, which is the place of worship where the witnesses go, whether, some religions may call it temple or church or whatever, but the witnesses went to the Kingdom Hall. So, there it was always set to be, hey, be great. And I would always be pushed to study and make sure I researched and make sure I participated and, gave talks and when will I be baptized? But I was never all in. I remember growing up studying with my mom. She'd have to come up with creative ways to teach me because I wasn't memorizing the books of the Bible. I wasn't studying, hardcore. She would ask me questions and I'd give her generic answers like, the good people or the bad people, so I was like deeply raised in it, but I always kind of was left foot, right foot. As I got older and seeked more attention, more love, more acceptance, then I did start going in a little bit more heavy. Of course, that was kind of derailed when I got pregnant at 16 and didn't tell anybody, so I was 6 months. So that was kind of fun. But I wasn't baptized, so I couldn't be disfellowshipped. So unlike other people could still talk to me. Okay, so I just want to let you know I've gone through it all with this religion. But even then, even after I was ostracized and kind of casted aside, I still had some people who, as I said, were very good to me and to my child. And we weren't quite shunned as bad, because again, I wasn't baptized all in. They could tell that Chanel was kind of funky, you know, because I was the prettiest girl and all the guys liked me. And, you know, when we played kickball, I was always the most rambunctious, and I was always the one who would question everything. I always questioned everything. I remember one of the elders in our congregation, he was like one of the head elders. And I used to always work in field service with him, which is going door to door knocking. And I used to question him all the time on stuff. What would happen if? What would happen if? And he was like, hey, listen, make a book, give me the book, and I will answer every one of the questions. And I made not just one book, but 2 books for him. I don't think he ever answered me either. But that, you know, that perspective of it was always, man, if I don't follow this to a T, then I'm not going to be accepted and loved. All the people that I've been raised around, because you can't have friends outside. You know, one of the people that were the nicest to me in school, I couldn't hang out with her outside of school because she wasn't a Jehovah Witness. And some of these people that I was learning, some of the things that led up to me becoming a teenage mom, were some of the elders' children. So, I mean, hey, there's that, right? there's so many things out there that shape the person who we become. And as people and as parents, we try to do our best and to say, hey, this is the right thing, this is what feels good. But eventually we as adults have to decide that, hey, this is not for me, or this is for me. And that's what it came to with me, because I still tried, even after, like I said, I was pushed to the side. I still tried to come back and start studying. And I got married to someone who was not a Jehovah's Witness, and my mom was not very happy about that. She was like, you know, pick me how it is. You tell me, say, you try to do this thing. I love Jehovah. And yeah, and I wasn't doing anything that I said I was trying to do. I was a person who was dubbed as leading a double life very early on. I remember being as young as 10, and my mom, yeah, that's the house, yep, 10 years old, and my mom telling me that I was living a double life. I can't serve 2 masters. What is it that, you know, I'm gonna do? What am I gonna take a stand for? Well, hey, so I guess I was always living my true life, but just for the 1 hour, you know, where I had to study, or the 2 hours where I had to go to the Kingdom Hall, you know, I'm going to put on this facade so I could be loved and be accepted by my parent, right? Because that was deeply rooted in us. We had to be a witness. And if we weren't a witness, if we didn't love Jehovah, then you know what? That she done did the best that she could do, but the angels are going to find my forehead and bust it open and leave the remnants for the birds. You hear the birds squawking? They looking for my brains to eat. That's what it is that I was told. And when I realized that a lot of the things that I was doing, I wasn't doing for me, I came to that realization by help of my husband. But when I realized that I was doing it not for me, but for other people, and I was truly still living a double life, and it wasn't serving me anymore, I had to have a come to Jesus moment, a come to Jehovah moment, whatever you want to call it. You know, I had to take all the upbringing, all the rooting, all the looks of disappointment as they realized I wasn't going to Bethel, as they realized I was not going to Auxiliary Pioneer, as they realized that the baptism that, you know, I went forth and did. I got baptized in my 20s. After I felt, okay, I done did everything that I'm going to do that could possibly get me in trouble to get this fellowship. It's out my system. I'm here, Jehovah. I'm ready to dedicate my life to you. And I was married to my ex-husband, who was very abusive to me at the time and had me kind of secluded from my family. So I was looking for a yearning and a family element, and the only element that I knew where to get that from was from the witnesses. So I had to go back to what I knew, right? If you haven't experienced anything else, you're not going to know where to go. So I went back to the witnesses and just said, okay, well, here I am. Let's do this again. And I got baptized, and everybody was so happy for me. You know, my grandmother, who's transitioned, may she rest easy with the ancestors. She was there, and she was so happy as well. I think she could kind of tell what I was doing, but she was still happy for me. And, you know, my aunties and my uncles, people who I haven't seen for a while, who weren't really talking to me, you know, they came through, and it felt good. I was like, yay, my family, because I'm a big love me person. I'm a Pisces, you know, I desire that acceptance. And when I got baptized for that day, I felt wonderful. And then the next day, I wanted to go do something, and I realized it wasn't to Jehovah's standards. And I was like, God dang nabbit, didn't I just get baptized and wash away my sins? What is happening? Why do I still want to sin? What is wrong with me? Why can't I get it the freak together? What is my issue? What is going on? And I had to seriously like start contemplating and thinking, okay, that was the happiest day of my life, right? That should have been the happiest day of my life. That's what everybody told me. Not the day that I gave birth to my first child, right, at the age of 17, a couple days after my 17th birthday. Not then, right? That shouldn't be the happiest day of my life. Not the day when I landed my first job, right? Not the day where I married the person who I thought I loved. Not them, but the day that I baptized myself in symbolism to this invisible being that I felt had let me down so many times. And I felt that no matter what it is that I did to please him, I couldn't please him. I couldn't please him, my physical father, my spiritual father, which my mom told me was the only father I ever had. My mother told me that the only father I've ever had was Jehovah, because my physical father wasn't in the house with me and didn't show any desire to be in my life. But if I didn't do things to please my father, then that shows that I want my father to be the devil. Now, here I am, not killing people, I can't say not stealing, but I wasn't killing nobody. I wasn't hurting nobody. I wasn't doing drugs. I didn't have tattoos. I wasn't doing things that should be so horrendous to think that I was doing something that was devilish. But because I couldn't serve and please and conform to something that felt unnatural to me, then the devil is my father. Who does that? But that was her way of trying to reach me, to talk to me, because in her mind, this is the truth. A lot of people, if you are familiar with the Jehovah Witness religion, they nickname it a lot the truth. They're like, oh yeah, the truth, this is the truth, yeah, the truth. And that's why I always told myself that if I was not to be in any other, if I was to stop being a Jehovah Witness, I wouldn't be any religion, because this is the truth. But obviously I'm not good enough to conform to the truth standards, but I'm not going to conform to no one else's. You understand? That's how I always told myself, ew. Right? I always left myself that door, that wiggle room to try to do things, because it wasn't what resonated with me. And I wasn't flourishing. And I felt that when I was flourishing the best is when I was doing things that went against the religion. So what type of confusion does that put you in? But then what really got me thinking about down this path, right, is because one thing the witnesses taught me to always do is question everything, right? They always encourage that. Question it. Question, where this is coming from. Christmas isn't real, right? Jesus is not God. It's God's son. Look it up, right? Do the research. Here's the facts. But if you started asking more heavy-hitting questions, it was like, calm down. Just question the things that we tell you to question. But I always wanted to know more. I always dug a little deeper. I was like, well, what are the true origins of Christmas? What are the true origins of Easter? Why is it that we as witnesses don't celebrate it? Okay, that's cool. Oh, wait a minute. They said that this belongs to this Egyptian myth. So is this what this is? And, they would always hide behind no one's ever seen God or Jesus and things of that nature to kind of make things seem on their side, to manipulate the narrative, to manipulate the storyline. But then I'm like, wait a minute, if all these other religions are rubbish and trash, why is the witnesses not? And why are there so many other people that are crazy? And why is it that just because I made one little simple mistake that resulted in the greatest thing of my whole entire life, people are to not talk to me? What's up with that? Like, that doesn't sound like love. That doesn't sound like a religion. That doesn't sound like a God that I want to be tied to and exclusive to. And then I started hearing murmurings of the religion is a cult. It's a cult if you're in it. And I'm like, a cult? I wouldn't be in no cult. Y'all crazy. And I'm not saying that it is. I'm not saying that that religion is a cult, and I'm not saying that it's not a cult. That is 100% up to you to define and find for yourself. And if you're still active in the religion, I think I said this before, but if you are still active in the religion, then that's amazing, because that's your truth, that's your perspective. But all I encourage you to do is to question everything. Because I remember when the internet first started coming out and getting popular, you know, we were always told that things, you know, from the outside source was bad. Like, don't worry about going to college. What do you need to go to college for? You know, you're leaving home and you're leaving yourself open to other ideas. You don't want to do that. You know, stay close to home, stay safe, just worship Jehovah and be full-time in the ministry and get a job somewhere local so that you can stay local. Or you can give your whole entire life to God and we will take care of you, because people will give donations and then we'll be able to provide for your home and your food and your whatever, right? Go to Bethel or something of that nature. But I was always told to research everything, study everything, and stay from the outside, because the outside lies to you. Rap music was bad. Anything outside of jazz and the Kingdom melodies, what we would sing at the Kingdom Hall, that was bad. Any books that were really like published, any symbols and stuff like that, it was bad. They'll do the research for you and give it to you. Look, we have a vast library of books on research that we already did that you can go now use just for your research. Don't use anything else out there, because it's a bunch of rubbish. And all those people that are telling you that, you know, they've done deeper and found that there's pedophiles in the church and there's trafficking in the church and there's rapists in the church and there's people addicted to other things who are still judging you and condemning you, don't worry about that. Don't believe that stuff. You know, there's a few bad apples and everything, right? We're still God's truth. We're still God's word. Stay away from it. I remember when the internet came out and they were telling us stay off the internet. It was horrible. It was bad. That's not something that was done by Jehovah. By that time I was phasing out. By that time I was kind of phasing out of the religion. So I don't know exactly how it went, but the other day, because, you know, the witnesses knock door to door, field service, right? The other day, because of the COVID lockdown, the quarantine, I guess they couldn't get out door to door. So they started doing letter writing, which is, you know, campaigns and stuff like that they call. So we got this in the mail, right? Addressed to my husband. And where can we find answers to life's biggest questions? And at first I saw it and I put it there just for a joke for him, because, you know, they addressed it to him because the house is in his name. But then I looked at it. I really looked at it, right? And I want you all to look. I hope this thing focuses. But I want you all to see, if you can see. First, the first thing that grabbed my attention was they're advertising a phone, right? Where can we find answers to life's big questions? Where do people go? Their phones. But look at the pictures that they put on here. It's pictures of fear. It's a man clutching his children in a flood on their car. It's a man in a hospital. It's people shooting in war. It's people rioting and angry. It's people there in a hospital bed. And it's asking, are the answers in science, philosophy, or the Bible, right? Of course, spoiler alert, it's the Bible, according to them, okay? So when I look at these pictures, I'm like, they are always promoting fear. That's one thing that's always been pushed, is fear. And when phones started coming out and the internet was coming out more predominant, they're like, it's bad. There's pornography on there. There's cuss words. It's unriled. It's unriveted. It's a world you don't want your family in. Don't even don't do it, right? And now, look, now they got jw.org. They set up a website. They're like, oh, you can get to the Bible in 150 different languages, I believe it is. And, you know, we can come and study with you. Yeah, the Bible in 100 different languages. You can find the Bible's answer to things. And that's one thing that I loved about the Witnesses, was the research aspect. And, oh, you can always find your answer in the Bible. And when I first left the religion, I kind of got upset and threw a lot of stuff away. I recycled it. I didn't throw it away because I love the earth. But I was like, get rid of this content. And as I started doing more and more things, I started realizing what the Bible really was, and that I could find solace in it. And I was so grateful and thankful that I was forced to memorize scriptures in the Bible, and I was forced to memorize the books of the Bible. Like, to this day, I can tell you all 66 books of the Bible. We used to walk around the neighborhood and have to recite them: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings. Like, I'm on it. I'm so proud of myself for that. But it taught me how to be a good student, and it taught me how to really research, and it taught me how to be okay with being separate. It taught me how to still love, but not want to go along with the masses, and to draw conclusions for myself. And if that's one thing I could attribute, one good thing that I could attribute and take away from the religion, that would be it. Also, the fact that they always push do not accept blood, because yeah, that's a lifesaver. Y'all stop putting foreign things into your body. It's crazy. But yeah, that's just my perspective on the religion. Would I go through it again? Yes, without hesitation, because it made me so much stronger. It made me so much wiser, and it made me into the person that I am today, a person that can have diversity and perspective and love people regardless where they're from, whether you look like me or not. And it taught me how to respect other people's views and opinion, and how to take rejection, because right now there's a lot of people who feel that we are separate, we're fighting for separate things, and that's not the case, because at the end of the day, we are all one collective. And if we all lead with love and understand that we all have different opinions, because the universe doesn't do anything the same, it's always different. And if we can respect people's difference of opinions and love them for where they are, then there would be no more chaos. Right? Just love each other for where they are. I appreciate for where you are. I appreciate your opinion, and we can keep it pushing. But because people have been taught that if you're not this, then you must be that, and that means that you're apart from me, it's tearing people apart. It's tearing families apart. This religion that I decided I did not want to conform to, and I think I always decided that, I just made it known and put it to a realization that, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is my life, and I have no apologies about it. I think that is continuing to keep people in a rift. I know it is my family. I can even call and ask up some things that I have questions about my family out of not wanting to hear or deal with, you would be amazing if you only love Jehovah. Like, well, you know what? I don't love Jehovah, and well, that's false. I do love Jehovah. I love that idea of Jehovah. That story of Jehovah is amazing, in my opinion. And just because I show it a different way doesn't mean that I'm wrong. So, with that being said, the smoke. I'm sitting outside and I have my citronella going to keep the mosquitoes away, because the mosquitoes love me, and the smoke just keeps following me. But that is that, wealthy family. I just wanted to share that perspective, because although I've evolved from that, the teachings that I gathered from it, because everything is a lesson, everything is a learning experience. So the lessons that I learned in that allowed me to become a better person, and I am so thankful for it. And I hope that you found some value in this as well. Go out and do something that will allow you to become your greatest version today, the greatest person that you could be, regardless of where you're coming from with that. Okay? So until next time, wealthy family.